What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. So, let's talk about it because, yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating on many accounts. I will say the first thing that I'm going to talk about, not really about the team, but kind of the MLS in general, is I do find an issue with the fact that all this season comes down to 90 minutes. And in those 90 minutes, if you're not at the top of your game, we're missing a couple key players. There are no excuses for tonight. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I still do find an issue with the fact that the season doesn't matter. What matters is the next 90 minutes. It comes down to one game. And yes, obviously the next round is a home and away, but still, this first round, 90 minutes, that's all you get. I do find an issue with that. I'm not going to make excuses for the team. I'm not going to blame the referee tonight, even though he was terrible. I'm not going to blame it on our injuries, even though we're missing two key players. I'm not going to blame any of that. But at the same time, it is kind of frustrating that this night is all that mattered. Yes, you can talk about what a great first season we've had. The fact that we've managed to make it to playoffs is still great. But it doesn't matter that much. What truly matters in this league is ending playoffs at the top. It doesn't matter that Toronto ended at the top. They could lose the next game and their season's over. That's really frustrating. And I do think it's something we need to look at because, like I've said before, talking about the MLS, talking about what it means to the national team, I think it's just kind of a way to say, all right, guys, here's the great equalizer. This is a way to keep everybody on the same page, to make sure no one team is better than the others. No one team gets a little bit more, I guess, I don't know what the best term is, but nobody stands out above everybody else. We're trying to keep it all somewhat even. So the top 6 of you get to go in. I don't know. So that's part of my frustration. It sort of adds to the frustration of the fact that we lost tonight. But let's get into the team because it pisses me off. It pisses me off that this entire season playing so well. We did have our off games. We had a few games where we didn't put it away, but frankly, that comes into play tonight because guess what? We didn't put it away tonight. We in our clutch games this season and the games that mattered, coming down through the last stretch. We have several home games coming down the last stretch. Guess what? We don't win any of those games. We tie, we lose, we tie. So many draws because we're not getting the job done. We're not doing our jobs. We're not doing what we need to do to get the win. That comes into play tonight because same exact thing. We're not getting the job done. When we went to New York, couldn't get a goal. Tonight, couldn't get a goal. It's frustrating. So, first thing I'll say before I start talking about some of Tata's decisions overall, I'm just going to say the attacking force tonight owes our defense an apology. Because all those defenders, aside from, Walk's passing and Perez's passing, defensively, we were solid tonight. Perez, even though his passing was terrible, solid defensively. Jeff, a monster defensively. He got asked to play 2 different positions tonight. When Michael came on, a beast defensively. Saved a goal line clearance. They kept this game 0-0. All the attack needed to do was get a goal. And that's not been a problem for us at all this season. But then tonight, when it matters, when the other team is putting on a strong defensive effort, and it gets tough and they get frustrated, they fall apart. And that's been the biggest story for me this season is we've got an attack that when it gets tough, when they get frustrated, they fall apart. They can't get the job done. And when it comes time for playoffs, it's going to be the same story every season unless they can find a way to get the job done when it's tough, when it's hard. They find a way to battle through it. They get frustrated, it doesn't matter. They pick themselves back up, they keep fighting, they keep working hard. But they don't. That's not been the story of this season for us. It's been, if it's an easy game, if we're putting it away early, well, there you go. We've got this. But if it's a game where we're forced to battle, or we're forced to try to fight our way for a point, if we're forced to get a goal through 7 or 8 defenders, we haven't been able to do it. And tonight, same thing. Another story to talk about is, like I said, Tata's decisions. First of all, Michael's maybe a little bit coming off of an injury after the last game. He did pull up late on, so it makes a bit of sense to not start him. But why did we buy Bobby Boswell? He wasn't even on the bench tonight. I don't know if he's injured as well. I don't know what's going on. But once again, you've weakened our midfield because you've taken Jeff out of there and you put Julian in there. He doesn't provide anything for us in the midfield. He provides nothing. And the fact that he not only started but ended the game and took the first penalty, which I'll talk about him in a second, that's frustrating. For a player like Kevin Kratz, who works his ass off every single time he's on the field, to miss out on a starting spot because Julian Gressel, oh, he's the rookie, guys. He's a young upstart. He's going to do everything he can in there. Oh, he's got a bunch of assists and goals. I don't care, okay? I don't care about the assists. I don't care about the goals. I know I said I wasn't going to criticize him anymore, but frankly, tonight brought it all back because we needed somebody in there who's going to work as hard as they can to not only win the ball back, but when they do get it back, to play simple, to keep the ball moving. Julian's not that player. And when you put him in the midfield, you lose something in the midfield. So, first half, we're creating a bunch of chances, but probably not as many as we could be creating if we had a bit more creativity going forward. And so, Tata's second half thinks, hey, I know, let's put the defender who probably should have already been starting, let's put him in, and let's not only not take out our slowest and least defensive player on the field, let's take off probably our most defensive attacking player on the field. Why the hell would you take Yamil Assad off the field? As soon as I saw the 11 go up on the board, I saw Michael Parkhurst come in and I'm like, okay, it's going to mix up the defense a little bit, but once we get our footing, we'll be a bit more solid defensively. I don't mind it that much. It'll let Jeff get into the midfield. He'll be able to move the ball around a bit more in there than Julian has been. That's not a bad change. But then all of a sudden the number 11 goes up on the board. And I looked at my dad, and all I could say is, why? There are no answers that make that okay. There's no explanation for taking Emil Assad off the field. Because I've complained about him a bit. I have complained about him in the past few games. I've complained about his production, what he does on the ball. Yeah, he gives the ball away a couple times, frustrating. He dribbles into pressure a couple times, frustrating. But his hard work is indispensable. You cannot replace that. There's no other player out there, well, at least in the attacking part of it. You don't see Miguel working as hard as he does. You don't see Tito or Joseph. You don't see Julian working as hard as he does. Even Carlos at times gets outworked by Yamil. And you take him off the field, and I tell you what, that changed the game. Because after that, it was one-way traffic before. It was pretty much all us. Occasionally Columbus would come down the field, but they weren't getting good chances, because we were running over them. As soon as he took Yamil off the field, it was Columbus chance, Columbus chance, Columbus chance. And even whenever we finally found our footing, when Michael finally started getting into the game a bit more, it was our chance, Columbus chance, our chance, Columbus chance. And they were getting dangerous chances because we lost one of our hardest workers. So that's frustrating. And then on top of that, you look at the other subs coming in, he's bringing on defenders. He's bringing on Mears for walks. He's bringing on Mikey for Chris. Like, all of these defensive options, do you not want to win? Do you want to go to a crapshoot called a shootout? I don't care how good you are on penalty kicks. You get into that penalty kick shootout, it is entirely up to luck. It is entirely up to chance. Your goalkeeper could be on fire that night, or it could be terrible. Your penalty kick taker, your best penalty kick taker on the night could have a bad night and miss. You left it up to chance because you were too busy thinking, all right, let's get our defensive players on. You've got Kevin Kratz on the bench who can provide something. You've got Jacob Peterson on the bench who can provide something. I don't know who else was on there, but you've got players who can bring something going forward, and you're bringing on defenders. And you don't even bring them on until the second half of overtime. I mean, at that point, a lot of players are already dead. and you're bringing them on for players who don't really need subs. Chris wasn't pulling up. Anton wasn't pulling up. I'm watching Julian cramping in second half. And at that point, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, he needs to come off. He comes off and then comes right back on. I saw Carlos pull up short in the second half of overtime. I'm just like, there's another sub we could have made. But no, you're taking off Joseph. You're taking off Tyrone or Anton. You're taking off Chris. Players who don't need subs. Stupid. And then on top of that, I don't know if Tata was directly involved with the penalty kick taking. I don't know if they had a set. You screwed yourself. You put Julian as your first one. Already a stupid decision. He made terrible PK. Not really driven. Just kind of passes it to the right or the keeper's right. Easy save. Now you're behind. Now you set the momentum. Perez steps up. Stupid PK. Now you're 2 behind. Now the momentum is entirely in their favor because you didn't pick the right penalty kick takers. So, yeah, there's your problem. So really frustrated with Tata tonight. I think he made some stupid decisions with the starting lineup, with his subs, that didn't help us. We were already kind of struggling because some of our players weren't stepping up. The decisions he made really screwed us over. So let's get into individual performances. Brad Guzan, a little bit disappointed with him on the first PK in the penalty kick shootout, but at the same time, it's a penalty kick shootout. Like I said, kind of a crapshoot. But, God, he kept us in the game. Like I said, pretty much everybody in our back line, for the most part, they should be apologized to because they did everything they could to keep us in the game, and Brad Guzan was a big part of that. Making some very clutch saves. There was even one moment the guy was offsides. It doesn't matter. He still made the save anyway. So I hate it for him because, man, he did everything he could tonight. I don't blame him for the PK shootout at all. Even though I hate the fact that he dove out of the way on the little chip penalty or whatever, that's frustrating for me because I'm a goalkeeper trainer, but I still don't blame him for that. At that point, the rest of the team let you down. They should have finished the job in regular time. Putting it to penalty kick shootouts is just like saying, it's all on you now, buddy. He's been doing his job the entire game. You should not put more pressure on him there. Anton on the right side, defensively he was solid, but his passing was just not good. Not quick enough. He dribbled into pressure too many times, lost it too many times. So I would say he was one of the 2 defenders that I'm only half happy with, just because, like I said, defensively he was okay. But the going forward part of it really hurt us. Jeff, did everything he could. Had to be forced to play out of position again, even though we've seen he's not the best coming out of the back. He's better in the midfield. But being forced to play there again, he did everything he could, cut out a lot of passes. When he was forced to move into the midfield, now he's having to change his mindset. He's having to play a different position. Still did really well. Asked to go for 120 minutes is very difficult. He gave his all, and I hate it for him just because he deserves to be going further into the playoffs. And the fact that the attacking force didn't give him that chance is really frustrating. Perez, same as Walks, good defensively, but God, he must have given them like 5 chances from his giveaways. Passes right to the other team. He's, instead of just laying it off to some help, he's trying to chip the attacker and chips it right into their chest for them to take down and go forward. Just stupid stuff tonight. Just stupid mental stuff. All you gotta do is think, and he didn't. And now he's creating chances for them. So, same as Anton, just frustrated with his forward play, but then again, he did do well defensively. He cut off a lot of chances, so I'll say he did well there, but really frustrated with the other way. Chris, kind of back and forth. He didn't really make any stupid mistakes. He was providing a lot of width tonight. Did well getting up and down the line, created a lot of chances coming in from the wings. Just unfortunate nobody could get on the end of it. And defensively, that's where he's lacking a little bit because he's not really a defender. But, he did well trying to get back. For a player who's not really a defensive player to be asked to sprint up and down the line, he did okay tonight. He's just not as effective, I think, as some other players defensively. So into the midfield, Carlos was asked to do a lot tonight. Asked to be his usual like distributing self, but also kind of hold down that Jeff Lernowitz role in the midfield for most of the night. So yeah, he did a lot too. The only problem I really had with him was just sometimes it was a bit too slow for him on the ball. We're trying to move it around, and it comes to him, and he's not looking to play quickly. He's looking to take a touch and then see what his options are. You should already know what your options are. So, but overall, I was happy with him. Julian, not involved at all tonight. Just had his one or two moments, but in a game where not only is it longer of a game, but on top of that, it's the playoffs. You've got to win or you're out. Yeah, I want to see more from him, and he didn't provide it tonight. He did not give us what we needed in the midfield. He didn't provide the work ethic that we needed in the midfield. I don't know why he was out there for most of the game. I don't know why he starts over Kevin, why he continues to play over Kevin, and why by the end of the game he's still on the pitch. Because Yamil didn't deserve to come off over him. Chris didn't deserve to come off over him. Even Joseph, who I was pretty pissed with most of the night, I'm thinking, okay, if we're going to go to PKs, you want Joseph in. But no, they take him off over Julian and let Julian take the first PK. So, yeah, I don't know what the thought process was tonight, but clearly there's a love for Julian that is way too much for the amount of skill that he has. I know he's a rookie. I know he's the rookie of the year because he's the only rookie that's really been involved in a team like ours to the extent that he has been. But he's not that level. He is not the same level as everybody else. He's a decent player who could probably fit into most MLS sides, but he's not one of our best players. And he certainly doesn't work hard enough to deserve to start over some other players. So, yeah, really, really frustrated with him, but mostly frustrated with Tata for letting him play the entire game. Yamil on the left side, like I said, he has his moments on the ball where he's lacking a little bit. The final pass isn't quite right. Dribbles into pressure, but his work ethic just, it's indispensable. I know he's still on loan too, so we need to do everything we can to try to keep hold of him. Because, man, he runs people. He runs them to death. He does not let them have a moment's peace. I have no clue what, the thought process to think, let's take him off the field. Where does that idea even come from? That has got to be the dumbest thing you could do, is take him off the field. So, yeah, I don't know. But that cost us. That decision right there cost us. Miguel in the middle, we needed our best player to step up tonight, and he did in the first half. And then after things got difficult in the second half, he was not there anymore. And I saw this earlier in the season. Same thing with Joseph. I'll get to him in a second. But when things get tough for both of them, when things get difficult, when defenders are fouling you and the refs aren't calling it, when the pass is just not perfect enough, it's a little bit off, and you're giving the ball away, you're dribbling into pressure, he starts dribbling endlessly. There's no point to his dribbles at this point. Now he's just going until he gets tackled. His passing is too sporadic. He takes random shots that he should not be taking at all. It's like he just tries to do everything himself when he has no need to. There's no reason why you should try to be doing everything yourself. You've got help out there. Just look for it. So before I go to Tito, since Joseph's kind of in the same vein, yeah, similar thing, except instead of trying to take everything on his shoulders, he just turns off completely. He'll just walk around, he'll stand off sides, and I know he tries to do that little, I'm standing off sides, but then I cut back right before they play it to go. But at some point, after your 8th offsides, you got to realize that it's not working for you tonight. Whether the refs are calling it right or not, I don't know because I still haven't seen the replays. But whatever the case, it's not working tonight. So maybe try to switch it up a little bit. Maybe try to go back and help. But at some point, your teammates get tired of, I'm kicking it downfield to try to find you, and you're not making the run. You're not doing anything. You're just standing there. And that was our biggest problem for most of the night is there was no outlet. Our defense is looking for something, but there's no movement up there. Miguel is standing, Joseph's standing, Tito's standing. There's no movement at all. And so it's just passing around in the back until eventually they step 5 players up to put pressure on us and then manage to nick it off and create a dangerous chance. That was half of our night. And it all comes from the lack of effort from those two. And it pisses me off that 2 of our best players didn't find the fire and the fight to get us a fucking win tonight. And excuse my language, but I'm pissed because of that. I am done with that attitude. I've got to deal with it on my amateur team that I play for. I got to deal with attitudes like that just get pissed and throw up their arms and I'm done and they're whining and complaining. Just play the damn game. You get out there and you play. You guys get paid to play. We have to pay. Like, we physically have to pay to be able to play. Registration fees, referee fees, jersey fees. We got to pay all that to play. And we still we go out and we do it. And I've got teammates that I got to deal with that are all like huffy and puffy if things don't go their way. But guess what? It doesn't matter. I still play. I still go out there and I still work hard for my team. It doesn't matter how insignificant our league is. It doesn't matter how insignificant our team is. I go out there and play because I love the sport and I want to win. So to see these 2 players, 2 of our designated players who are paid more than everybody else, to see them go out there and just not give a crap pisses me off. I tell you what, if I were down in one of those seats next to the bench, like those people that are they get like the whatever, the SunTrust fan club or whatever, if I were one of those people, after Joseph did his little huffy puffy, like take the socks off, take the shin guards off, there's like 5 minutes left in the game, and Jacob Peterson's coming on, and you know he's going to bring a lot of spirit and fight and desire, and he's sitting there taking freaking 3 minutes to come off the field. If I was one of those people down there, man, I would have thrown cups, I would have thrown anything I could get my hands on at him, because that is bullshit. That is not a team desire, that's not a team mentality, that's individualism, and that costs us the fucking game. And it's crap that we've got to deal with that. You know, and that's, for all the things he did this season, for all the good goals he scored, all the good that he did, it comes down to that. That's all I saw these past few games, is I saw that. I saw that huffy puffy shit going on, and I just want to kick his ass. Because that is crap. That's not team mentality. That's not, I want to win for my team. That's what I want to win for me. That's me. And that's bullcrap. So you can get your ass out of here, because that is not what we want here. That's not what we want to do here, because that's not going to win you titles. That's not going to win you trophies. You're not going to win shit doing that. You can do everything by yourself at some other team. Because you can't do that at the professional level. You cannot be your own little player at the professional level. You got to be working with your team. If your name is not Lionel Messi, you're not doing everything by yourself. Even Cristiano Ronaldo has to score goals because of the hard work of his teammates. So that was enough for me. For me, personally, everybody obviously singing his name as he's going off, I was one of those people that was just yelling at him because I was pissed. I was done with him after that. So, now I had my little rant. Finally on to Tito. Just ineffective tonight, you know, had a few moments where he was working hard, but then had a lot of moments where he wasn't working hard. You know, he's kind of a player that fades in and out of games, sometimes pull off something spectacular. Tonight was not that night. As far as the subs are concerned, you know, Michael came on, put in probably a man of the match performance for me. It has to be down to either him, Guzan, or Jeff. You know, those 3... they worked so hard tonight. I don't see how it couldn't be given one of them. I know Carlos got it. It's got to be one of those 3. You know, from the goal line clearances, from the defensive work they put in. I mean, God, there was one time it looked like he was beat with speed. Next thing you know, he's taken off. And not only is he beating the guy with speed, but he's, like, doing it smart. You know, he's not just chasing behind the guy. He's actually, like, working hard to get goal side of him. I'm like, he's such a smart defender. we've got to hold on to him because he runs our defense. He may not do it with his voice, but he does it with his work. So, another player that deserves an apology, in my opinion. Tyrone came on, you know, they all these last three subs were all in the second half of overtime. So you have 15 minutes to get involved. Jacob had like 5 minutes to get involved. Mikey had 10. So yeah, they didn't really have a whole lot of time to do much, but all of them came on. And Mikey and Tyrone did well defensively. Jacob did well to create some pressure for the back line of Columbus, but at that point it's too late, and it's frustrating. It's so frustrating that this is how it happens. This is how it ends this season. It doesn't end on, oh, we were so close. Oh, we were there. We were in the final, but we weren't able to get. No, it ends in the first round against Columbus at home as well. A place where we've been dominating pretty much most every team that comes here. And then we end the back half of the season with no wins, with 4 draws, a loss, and a loss in PKs. I mean, that's about as bad as you can get to end your season. The rest of the season, yeah, it was a great first season, great for an expansion team. The fan base, all that stuff, I'll talk about that in probably my final wrap-up of the season. But, yeah, for this entire fun, exciting first season to come to a close in such a freaking disappointing way, and for a couple players to show how useless they are, yeah, it's frustrating. It's disappointing. So, maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm not. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this game? What were your thoughts on the players? Let me know. We can talk about it and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for, next year's Lenny and I reviews. See you guys there. Peace out.